Picking up where we left off, working on the grill of Frank. I've got it fully coated and undercoating, and I think the black is too much. Mostly because it just really makes the lights stick out too much. Maybe if the lights were like a smoked out light, it would look fine, but I think the black is just too much. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with some like metallic silver to try and like kind of make it look like a silvery chromish thing, and we'll see what happens. So gonna go ahead and pull this off, get it over on the bench, hit it with a little of the spray paint, and we'll see what it looks like. All right, I painted the grill silver. I think it's better than the black. I don't love it. Honestly, I think some sort of like black highlights on this, kind of like the original one is, would be ideal. But I think this will look fine. I think once the hood is on it, it will look, and a bumper, it will look better. So I'm gonna leave the grill for now. We're gonna move on to the inside. All right, what we're gonna start on today is getting seats in this. This is the original seat out of the 73 Wagoneer. As you can see, it's pretty hammered. I've got some other seats that are a little less hammered from the 85 parts one. So this is just sitting in here. Let me show you what work we got to get done in order to get the other seats in. Notice the trans tunnel on this one. There's no hump here. So let me show you the difference. I'm gonna run out to the 85 parts body and I'll show you the difference in the trans tunnel, and then I'll show you what needs to get done in order to get the other ones mounted. Here we are at the 85 body. See this section here? This doesn't exist on the 73, and here's a mounting bracket hole and here's a mounting hole. So question is, do I cut this out and weld it in the other one, or do I just make some extensions for the other seats? I think I'm gonna dig the seats out and stick them in the 73 and then go from there. Alright folks, got the passenger seat in. This one was pretty straightforward. I was able to use this front mount, and then these brackets all worked with the trans tunnel, so I just had to drill some new holes. This back one was a little funky. You could see, so this bracket ended here, and I couldn't drill a hole here because this channel is right there, so I would have had to drill through the channel, and I didn't want to do that. So I ended up welding a piece on here and just using, this was the existing one. Alright, I got this driver one set in here. These, you can see on this passenger one, these stock seats really kind of lean back. And I want this driver's seat to be more upright so I can be seeing down the hood better. So I'm gonna put like a 1-inch spacer. I think I'm just gonna use this piece of metal, and I'll weld that on the bracket here and the bracket on this side, and that will lift this back up. And then these front ones, so this rear mount here, you can see here's a factory mount. Alright, here's the factory mount. So I'm going to be able to use that one. I have to drill one for this side. Now remember, this had a bench seat in it, so it only had brackets on the outside. So there are no factory holes for buckets on the inside near the trans tunnel and this here. And then I'll drill one here. I think we're just gonna miss that C channel underneath I showed you on the passenger side I was worried about. And then I'll drill a hole here, and we should be good to go. Obviously I'll have to square everything up and level it. That's the plan. I'll pull the seat out, and I think I'll start with welding the little lift on the back, and then I'll set it back in here and probably get that one bolt through the factory one and then get everything oriented, and we'll go from there. Alright, I cut this bracket. See it right there. And I got this bolted in the way I want it. I welded this L bracket on, and we're good. Can we read? Let's see. You guys read that? I don't know if you can read it, but it says 0.1. So got 1, 2 done. I'll have to drill a hole here. This front one, I think I'll do similar to what I did back here. I'm gonna have to brace this, but I'll do that similar thing as cut a relief here and then just bend this down so it's flat, and then I'll weld a brace in that one. And this one here, again, like I said earlier, there was this, we had the option of cutting that hump out and welding it in, but I decided against it. So I'm gonna have to make a spacer here. Alright y'all, got dark on me, but I got the seats in. Got this all welded up down here. Everything's bolted in. Drilled a hole there. And we're all good to go. Check this out. Power seats, baby. I told you guys I had some that were less hammered. Look, I understand these are not quality seats, but a couple seat covers and we'll be good to go. I'm hanging out with Frank today, and here's what we're doing. This shift lever here is for the rear drive shaft. Goes to the transfer case, and you can see it gets real close to the dash here. With a knob on it, it almost touches, and you can see this is for the front one. It's much longer, and that is driving me crazy. So I'm going to cut this down so it's just either the same size or a little longer, and re-weld it. And then I'm gonna get this all put together here, this trans tunnel cover all put together, so that I can finally start lining these floors. So now that I got all of the seats in, I can go ahead and pull them out once I get this trans tunnel in, do all the prep, and line this floor. So today's goal is to get the shifter cut down and reinstalled and the trans tunnel in and go from there. Maybe we'll start prep for the bed liner. All right, I pulled out the shift lever. I've got it marked here. I'm going to cut there, slide this down, weld it back together, put it back in. Okay, shifter's in. Operates well still. not even close to the dash now. So I kind of wish I would have left it maybe another inch longer, just so it would have been a little bit longer than the front driveline one, but I think it's fine. So I'm gonna start getting this cover in now. The old shift lever was up here where this cutout is, and so I need to cut the trans tunnel cover, and it looks like I've made some marks here earlier, and I think I already translated them to the trans tunnel cover. I did. So it looks like my plan is to cut this over and then onto this line, if I remember correctly. So I'm gonna go do that and then take it over to the Wagoneer and set it in there, see how it looks, see if we want to cut a piece of metal to cover the old hole. Let's just cut this and go from there. Test fit number 1, we're clearing fine here, but I'm hitting on the transfer case. I'm hitting on the transmission shifter there, so I either need to cut this out or use the one from the J truck. Let's go look. Okay, so here's the one from the Wagoneer, here's the one from the J truck. You can clearly see this hole is bigger, and it is further back from this hump. So you can see why we need to go back. So the question is, do I clean this one up and use this one? It's kind of beat up, or do I think I'm just gonna cut more of this out. The only problem with that would be the shifter boot might not cover, but minor problem. And I suppose I could always weld a small piece in here if we need to. So I think I'm just gonna cut a little bit here and slide it back in. All right, cut this out. It's fitting now. I think I'm gonna cut a little bit more here just to give a little bit more clearance, but I don't know if you guys can see that all the holes are lining up. Let's put some boots on and see what's covering. So that will go there. So it's got a little gap in the back it's not covering. So that's gonna go there, which means we gotta do something about all this. So probably make a mark here and then just measure this and cut a plate to probably just screw on top of this, because who knows what the future of Frank will hold. So I don't think I want to permanently weld anything. I'll just cut something to go over this hole, and then we'll just screw it down to cover that patch. And maybe the same thing with this one back here. I don't know. What do you think? Something will be done. And I cut some brackets, so this one will go just like that. And let's put some screws in it, maybe a little caulking to seal it. And then this one should just go right like that. Do a little bending of it here. And then again, put screws in it to hold it down. And then we should be good. Boot should then cover this hole. And then This trim ring will go over that. So we're good there. And then this one here, bam, we'll be set. So now I'm gonna pull all this out, pull these seats out, and then I guess I'll start prepping this floor. I decided to hold off on working on this tub and getting this coated. I think my dad's gonna stop by tomorrow and he can help me pull those seats out. It'll go a little quicker. So instead, I'm gonna work on this tailgate here. This is a tailgate out of Frank. It has a lot of rust. See it in there, there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take all of the internals out of this one and put it in this one. This is off the 85 parts Wagoneer. It has a little bit of rust, but not bad. So what I'm gonna do first, I'm gonna actually take all the internals out of this one and then remove the internals from that one and put them into this one. I just realized I never told you guys why I was swapping the internals. This one off the 85 is an electric rear window. This one is a good old-fashioned hand crank. So I want the hand crank. We're gonna move all the hand crank parts into this one. Alright, we got this one stripped out. I'm gonna bring the other one in and I'm gonna start putting this regulator, this manual regulator, the other one. I think my goal is to get this and the crank in and then probably call it a night. Getting these, I don't even know what you call them, but these slides onto here and this little bracket on here and clipped in, this little keeper, is an absolute nightmare. I've fought it before, so I don't know that I'm up for that today. So I think I'm just gonna clean this one up, get it and the crank in, and then we'll deal with this clip and getting the glass in on another day. Ran into a problem. Two problems. This hole on the 73 tailgate is in a different spot than it is on this hole, which I think I could just take these off and take the tabs off here and just unbolt these, and maybe we don't even need those. So that's hopefully solvable. This is the next problem. This mounting, this latch and this latch go together, not this latch. So on the 85, there's a post that comes out instead of this. There's a post that comes out and latches on. So I think I'm going to take this latch mechanism out and try and put it in the other one. We're going to start with that, and hopefully it works. If it doesn't, back to the drawing board. It's morning the next day. I was in here pretty late last night fighting this tailgate. These holes, 1, 2, 3, are in different locations than these 3. And because I had to swap the lock mechanism from this one was the one that was in there, they didn't line up. So that was a problem. Then these holes are further back than these holes. So the tab, here's the lock mechanism. And this tab right here, when you move this handle, pushes this forward. Pushes this tab forward. This tab pushes forward this tab on the lock mechanism, and that releases the tailgate. So this tab was not hitting this piece in this mechanism. So I had to then, on the mechanism that's in here, in this one, right here, I had to add a little bit of metal. So I basically cut like a 3/4 by 3/4 square and welded it onto there. Yada, yada, yada. There was a lot of work. The good news is it currently works. This tailgate just kicked my butt. It basically took me all day to get this regulator in, the window in, connected, lined up, and then the window stopped wanting to go up, so I had to take it apart again. But, watch. Ta-da! I win again.